Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV, last video of the day, and we are back. Okay. We are back with another video, and we are going to be talking about The Walking Dead. Yes. Walking Dead. We just watched the end of season 3, and I know I'm like 10 years late. I have watched this series before, and I do somewhat remember some of these parts. It's kind of starting to come back to me now, like some of the memories from watching this show. So that's a really cool moment, kind of nostalgic feeling watching this show. But yeah, we're at the end of season 3, and I kind of know when this show starts to go downhill. So once I get to that point, I'm probably not going to watch this show anymore. We will see, though. I'm definitely finishing Better Call Saul and probably rewatching Breaking Bad just for the storyline to kind of match up. I think that's going to be beautiful. But let's get into the plot. Let's get into the critical reception. I got to go to bed. I don't want to be too much of a disturbance to my roommates. So I don't think I'm being too loud, but I'll just try to limit the volume. So if you can't hear me that well, I'm sorry. I'll try to make a louder video tomorrow. So at Woodbury, the governor beats up Milton after learning he burnt the Walker pits and betrayed him. So obviously Milton, his punishment was kind of coming for him. He's a very loyal supporter of the governor. And in conflict, out of nowhere, when they needed these Walker pits, he just burns them. Obviously that doesn't bode well with the governor. The governor's a very aggressive individual. He gets the point. So yeah, that's all very fine and dandy, I guess. So yeah, start of the episode, Milton is just getting his ass kicked. It's very fucked up what the governor does. The governor drags Milton to the torture room where Andrea is still handcuffed to a dental chair. So now Milton figures out that he has Andrea hostage and he's probably going to put a threat on him. So yeah, it's getting really bad. Milton is like thrown in a terrible situation here. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. The governor offers Milton a knife and tells him he can get back into his good graces by killing Andrea. But Milton turns and tries to kill the governor instead. So the governor's like, hey, you can get back on my good side. Take out Andrea right now. And he just can't do that to Andrea because he's built a really good relationship with her. So the governor grabs the knife and stabs Milton several times, fatally wounding him. So he's kind of slowly like sitting on the floor, dying of his wound. He leaves Milton to die, knowing that he will reanimate soon, and tells Andrea that in this life, you kill or you die, or you die and kill. So kind of some cold-hearted, kind of chilling words there for the governor. Those are his last words he will ever say to Andrea before, something happens to her in this episode, and we will get to that, right? The governor then goes to join the army of men ready to attack the prison, so they take out their attack. Tyrese informs the governor he and Sasha will stay behind to protect the citizens of Woodbury as they only kill walkers, not humans. He doesn't want to get into interhuman turmoil. He's only here to take out the zombies and rid themselves of this apocalypse, which is very fucking respectable. Tyrese. We need more people in this damn show like Tyrese. So yeah, he's being a Samaritan, kind of watching over everybody else in the village that can't really fight for themselves, or the city, whatever you call it. The governor, after a moment, agrees and gives Tyrese a gun and thanks him. He's like, "Thank you, you've done a service. You're kind of like the stay-at-home mom while the veterans are out, or while the soldiers are at war." So he appreciates him for that. Surprisingly, I thought he was gonna say no to that. At the prison, Rick and his group pack up supplies in the cars, knowing that the governor's going to be arriving soon and that they don't want to mess with him. Rick is still seeing hallucinations of Lori, making him question his judgment, like, should I leave? There's signs telling me that maybe I shouldn't leave, stuff like that. Michonne finds Rick and forgives him for his decision to try to turn her over to the governor, and thanks him for his decision to bring her into the group. Like, she really feels like one of them, and they're really bonding. It's so beautiful to see Michonne kind of have some humility for once in her life and have some emotion towards other people. It's awesome. She's had some really good character development. I commend the creators for this character development. Rick admits it was Carl's choice, believing she belonged here. So yeah, now she has Carl to thank. Carl is a young boy, sees a lot in her, and that's fucking awesome. Love it. Elsewhere, Daryl talks through his grief of losing his brother Merle with Carol. Carol's obviously been there with him pretty much since the beginning. They've always kind of had support for each other. Sometimes intimate. I don't think they've ever really went that far, but there's a cool relationship that they have going on in this show, and I hope it continues. She reminds him that Merle gave them a chance against the governor. So, yeah, he did a great thing. Merle, as shitty of a person as he might have been in his past life, he definitely helped them. He's a big catalyst in the war and kind of gave the prison group an upper hand. Later, a small army from Woodbury arrives at the prison, obviously, as the group expected. They use their heavy weapons to break through the outer walls and breach the fences with their vehicles, hoping to break in, infiltrate it, and kill everyone inside. The prison outside of Walker's appears empty, but obviously there's a couple of people hiding there still and other people going away. So they're kind of stealthy. They knew this. As they search the cell blocks, they find a Bible left by Herschel open to a highlighted passage, John 8:5-29. And shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and that they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. So almost like Herschel sending a message to them, which is really cool. Really cool thing for them. The governor angrily tosses the book aside and orders his men to search the tombs, the maze of hallways within the prison. That's why it's called the episode's called "Welcome to the Tombs." What am I trying to say here? What was I gonna say? So this is pretty much representing the governor putting religion for a side and just being a shitty person. Like, this really confirms that he's not a fucking good guy. Like, let's be honest. Let's see. However, Rick and the others are hiding in the tombs and ambush the governor and his men, who flee in a confused panic. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Where do these people come from? So yeah, the group plans out something amazing, and of course Rick does the best he could have done here. The Woodbury army retreats from the prison, ignoring the governor's orders to hold their ground and attack, and the governor's like, oh shit, everybody else is leaving, I might as well go with them too. A young man from the Woodbury group escapes on foot and runs into Carl and Herschel, who are waiting out the attack in the woods on the perimeter of the prison. So they just coincidentally kind of run into each other outside of the battlefield. It's kind of crazy. Herschel and Carl hold the man at gunpoint, and Herschel demands the young man hand over his weapon. He's like, look, I'm not going to kill you right away. I'm not a shitty person like that. As he slowly complies in Herschel's demand, Carl unexpectedly and deliberately shoots the man, killing an innocent man. Carl, what the fuck? What did his dad teach him, right? So in Woodbury, Tyrese warns Sasha they may need to slip away before the governor's return, because if he returns and the mission's unsuccessful, then he's probably going to lash out his anger on everyone there, and probably going on a rampage, and they were right. Milton tries to retain consciousness long enough to help Andrea escape and tells her he left a pair of pliers on the floor behind her so she can use it to break the handcuffs restraining her to the chair. What a fucking smart guy. Milton saved Andrea's life, but I have bad news coming for you guys real quick here. Some distance from the prison, the governor catches up to the fleeing convoy and orders them to return to the prison. Like, now, we must stand our ground, we must assert our dominance, kind of giving this group like a pep talk. When they insist on returning to Woodbury, the governor proceeds to kill them all, including Alan. So, decently significant character in the series, Alan, has just died after the governor, out of a fit of rage, just goes on a shooting rampage against his own people who looked up to him and had their trust in him. Yeah, the governor is a piece of shit, and this further illustrates it, right? It's crazy. I did not expect this to happen at all. He only leaves alive his lieutenants Martinez and Schumpert, though he is unaware Karen has hidden herself under the bodies to avoid being killed, so there's a lone survivor out of the civilians, because Martinez and Schumpert have pretty big roles in the city, so yeah, they're obviously spared. The governor, Martinez, and Schumpert drive off, so Karen is now alive, and she's gonna have a pretty decent role in this show, I'm pretty sure, from now on. In the prison, Herschel tells Rick about Carl's execution of the surrendering Woodbury man and explains in no certain terms Carl gunned that kid down. No uncertain terms. He's like, no, there's no fucking confusion here. This kid did this for no reason. He killed an innocent man. You must punish him for it. Like, he's holding this kid accountable. He's teaching him a good lesson. He's doing the fathering for Rick here. Rick, Michonne, and Daryl leave to chase down the governor, fearing he may attack again, while the others guard the prison. So we kind of split the group up into two here. This is this is going to be a pretty lengthy video, longer than most of the other Walking Deads recently. These videos used to be longer too. The three discover the Woodbury convoy and find Karen hiding in a truck, who explains what happened. So now Karen is kind of one of them. So they're just kind of adding numbers, and the governor just depleted a bunch of people. So that was kind of stupid on his part. Now all he has is Tyrese, Sasha. Right now Milton and Andrea are still alive, but the governor didn't want that to happen. But yeah. They continue to Woodbury and engage in a firefight with Tyrese and Sasha until Karen speaks up and explains what she saw. Now when they hear her voice, they're like, oh shit, it's Karen, she's back. Her name's fucking Karen, and that's funny, man. I don't think there were Karen memes at the time when the show was really popping like that, and when this episode came out in particular. So that's hilarious now, looking at that. Tyrese allows the group to come in, and Rick tells them that Andrea never returned to the prison. So yeah, Andrea is in Woodbury. That's what they find out. Oh man, this is crazy. It's a really good episode. I like how they handled this, I think. The group quickly searches Woodbury and find the torture room. After plenty of searching through the town, they finally find where Andrea is. They find Milton dead. They don't really care about that. But it quickly becomes clear Milton reanimated and bit Andrea before she could kill his reanimated body, presumably by stabbing him through the brain with the pliers. So yeah, Andrea took too fucking long, she choked, and now it's probably, we're going to see if it does, it may or may not cost her her life in the series. Rick, Michonne, and Daryl sit with Andrea and grapple briefly with her impending turn from Milton's bite. It's like, yeah, she's probably not going to make it, guys. I mean, hate to say it, right? That's what kind of their mentality here. Rick tells her everyone is safe at the prison, and Andrea is glad that Michonne has found Rick's group and that she's one of them, and she's not like running around like a fucking lone star, the lone wolf the whole damn series. She likes that. That's good. That's some closure for her. Andrea insists she kill herself, and in an effort to reconcile her decision to stay with the governor, tells Rick, I just didn't want anyone else to die. She didn't want anything to get mixed up. She didn't want bloodshed. She just wanted the good for the people, and she kind of left on a really good note, man. Rick puts his revolver in her hand and waits in the hallway with Daryl. Oh, man. Michonne has to stay with her for this, obviously, because of what they went through in that one cold winter. Michonne refuses to leave Andrea, and while Rick and Daryl wait somberly in the hall, Andrea shoots herself behind the closed door of the torture room. So yeah, Andrea, Milton, Alan, they all died in this episode. Very unfortunate. But nothing is going to like move me as much as Dale's death did. Oh my goodness, that fucking ruined me, man. Rick's group returns to the prison with Andrea's body to give her a proper burial. So they really liked this girl. Obviously, they cherished her. She had some great moments with the group. She played a pretty big role at times, and she took authority of things. They're followed by a school bus of the remaining Woodbury residents, including Tyrese and Sasha. So they're pretty much taking everyone from Woodbury. So now all the governor's left with is Martinez and Schumpert. Yeah, Rick is pretty much stealing his society and making it his own. That's great. They're going to join us, Rick tells Carl, and Carl seems kind of hesitant about it at first, but fuck you, you little piece of shit, kid. These people had nothing. Rick looks up at the prison catwalk where Lori previously appeared as a hallucination, and she is no longer there, so hopefully he stops having fits. But yeah, it's a great episode, man. Mixed reviews. The disappointing prison assault. People thought it was going to end out in an all-out war, and the show decided not to do that, and that's people are very critical of that right now. B+ on the AV Club. It wasn't a perfect hour, and once again, there are characters behaving in ways that should have been better established over the course of the entire season, rather than just randomly being pulled out of a hat in the last hour. But it still holds together, and it makes the arc of the season seem cleaner in retrospect. Although the episode had many great moments, it was overall kind of a disappointing finale. In part because the show took the easy way out and didn't give us what it was promised, like the fight scene with Rick and the governor. But I really like how drawn out this is becoming. Part of me wants to see it just keep being drawn out, because obviously there's 8 more fucking seasons, so we have plenty of time for this shit to happen. Now obviously at the time they didn't know how successful this series was going to become. 9.3 out of 10 on Paste. The theme of humanity when civilization has crumbled was cool. This relates to several characters throughout the show's history. This was highlighted with the characters of Rick Carl and the Governor in this episode. 7.3 out of 10 on IGN. Pretty good review for them. The prison group's trap and ambush in the beginning of the episode was great. The interesting questions Carl's actions provoked were awesome. Although there are some flaws, resting the episode's dramatic conclusion entirely on Andrea's death was kind of unsatisfying, and the governor surviving was cool though. That's something I did kind of appreciate, but I don't know. That's all I gotta say. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. GZTV. I am out. I gotta go to bed here in like 25 plus minutes. So yeah, we're gonna watch some YouTube for a little bit. Iconic the Kid. I might check that out. So I'll have to look at the comments on that